Podcast, marhaba, marhaba, marhaba. Hind Deer Podcast, marhaba, marhaba, marhaba. Yalla habibi, mashallah habibti, yalla.
Hey, welcome back to Hind Deer Podcast.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Hind Deer Podcast. Welcome, everyone. This is Hind with you, Hind Deer. This podcast is going to be in English. This is Brandon, Hind Deer's husband.
Hi, everyone.
مرحبا على الجميع باللغة العربية. أي واحد متابعنا باليوتيوب أو بالإنستغرام، يا أهلا وسهلا بي. راح ندردش وياكم لمدة ساعة، وحطينا لكم رقم تليفوننا حتى إذا تريدون تخابرون على الواتساب. You can call anytime during the podcast you want using WhatsApp. The phone number is in the description box in YouTube. It's also on Instagram, but I will also put it in one of the comments and pin it in case you needed to use that phone number to call us. 614-332-2811. Let me see here. I don't know how to pin this. It's fine.
Okay, but if you want to call us on WhatsApp, you're welcome to. Again, it's 614-332-2811. And as far as the time goes, we've been starting this at various times around 2, 3 o'clock. We don't have a set time yet because we're still new at this, and we're trying to have everything prepared. So even getting prepared for the podcast is a new thing. But as we do more of it, we'll try to have a more regular time, and we're hoping around 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
يا هلا بكل أصدقائنا اللي جاي يعلقونا. هسه بعد شوي راح أقرأ تعليقاتكم، واللي يحب يدردش ويانا ويناقش ويانا المواضيع اللي راح نناقشها اليوم بالبودكاست، يا أهلا وسهلا بي. راح نعطيكم كل الوقت وكل الاهتمام وكل شيء أنتوا تريدوه. راح نقرأ تعليقاتكم ونتواصل وياكم ونرد عليكم. وأيضا تقدرون تخابرونا، تتصلون بينا على رقم الواتساب 614 يعني زائد، تحطون زائد 614 332-2811. هذا الرقم. هسه احنا نزلنا البرنامج وراح نقدر نتواصل وياكم عن طريق هذا الرقم 332-2811. فاللي يريد يخابر راح يخابر على هذا الرقم. واحنا جاي نحكي بالانجليزي بهذا البودكاست لانه زوجي ما يعرف يحكي عربي. من يتعلم عربي ممكن نسوي لكم بودكاستات بالعربي. اوكي. I pinned the comment. So, for everyone who wants to call, I made a comment on YouTube and on Instagram, and I pinned those comments with the phone number that we have. It's a WhatsApp phone number if you want to call us and communicate with us. Let's jump right into the subject that we're talking about. What are we talking about, babe?
We're going to talk about toxic relationships and our experience with them and how to deal with them, and hopefully include feedback from the audience. The first thing is identifying a toxic relationship.
All right. Identifying a toxic relationship. What do we have to say about it? To identify a toxic person? Is that what you're talking about?
How would you define a toxic relationship? How would you define a toxic person? What is toxicity? What do we mean by that?
Toxic people. Yeah. Toxic person is a person who wants to control you, a person who wants to use you for their own benefit with disregard of your benefit. So they want you to work for them without any payback. Basically, that's what a toxic person is. That's what I think. What do you think, babe?
Yeah, someone who gaslights you, criticizes you constantly, has controlling behavior, tries to isolate you from your friends, uses emotional blackmail and emotional abuse, threatens you, is jealous a lot, insults you. Those are all toxic behaviors that we want to avoid, that we've all experienced in life. And as we get older, and I'm definitely old by now, we just try to make better decisions with the people we associate with.
Mm-hmm. So, as you're getting older, you kind of know who's toxic and who's not. Is that what you're saying?
I'm getting better at it.
Okay.
I'm still learning, but I've gotten much better than I was at one point in my life.
So you're basically saying Hind Deer is not a toxic person.
Hind is probably one of the most emotionally healthy people I've ever met.
All right. Control. Let's talk about control. How about that?
Have you been in a controlling relationship ever?
Have I?
Yeah.
been? I'm sure I have. Like, probably, yeah. I mean, if we're talking about relationship in terms of friendship too, if we take that into consideration, I would say yes. Not necessarily controlling, but a toxic relationship, I would say. Toxic person, like toxic people, you kind of tell they're using you for them, and you're getting nothing out of it. Versus a healthy person realizes that this relationship is for both of you. So both interests have to come in place, and they have to be served, both. And a healthy person kind of understands that you have needs too, not only them. And they have something to offer for your needs, but they also like take something from you. You know, it's a give and take.
Yeah, I think one of the first signs of a controlling person is someone who tries to dominate your time, who tries to get you to focus on them all the time, who tries to keep you away from other friends and family.
Play the victim.
Yeah.
Victimize. They would do everything. They will do everything to be that person who gets your attention for the whole time, whether it be playing the victim, like making you feel sorry that you're not helping them, or like making you feel bad about their situation, and you try to be there for them, but then they overuse you, and it's just a control game, you know? Game of control.
What do you think a common misconception people have about toxic people would be?
Common misconception. If someone loves themselves or says good things about themselves, people misunderstand that and think this person is a narcissist. Versus a narcissist is actually not someone who would seem like a narcissist. A narcissist is a nice person. Like, remember the other time there's this guy in our life. We know this guy, both of us. He's not a friend of us, but we know him, and we think he's a narcissist just because he's nice. You wouldn't think he would do anything toxic to his wife or his the people around him, but that's what narcissist is. And a very common misconception about narcissism is when you take care of yourself, or when you think good of yourself, people automatically think, oh, he's a narcissist. Oh, she's a narcissist.
Yeah, a good rule of thumb is that a confident person is not a narcissistic person. In fact, how people describe narcissism is a person who lacks confidence. It's typically the person who's calling a person a narcissist has the narcissistic traits. Usually like a vulnerable narcissist. But yeah, loving yourself, caring about yourself, having confidence, wanting to do things with your life is not narcissism. It's just having a healthy head on your shoulders.
Mm-hmm. All right, babe. How about we take some comments and we read them?
Okay.
And I would like to remind everyone, if you would like to call us, this is our phone number. You can have a chat with us. You can say whatever you want regarding this topic, narcissism or toxic people.
How can you tell if you are the one who's toxic? Good question.
Oh, yeah, I had that question earlier. How can you tell if you are the toxic person? That's a question by Sam on Facebook.
I mean, sometimes we are the toxic people. Sometimes you are the toxic person. We'll go through stages in life. Probably if you're the one who feels like you're, I don't know. How do you know?
How do you know if you're toxic? I've heard that toxic people, a lot of them have no idea what they're doing. They just have no idea that they are toxic. But some of them know that they are toxic and very aware of their toxicity. I don't know. How would you know?
Probably the way people respond to you. If people feel agitated by you, nervous around you, if you trigger people.
If people walk on eggshells around you,
Yeah.
you're toxic. If you have two characters, one outside the house and one inside, and the character inside the house is not very pleasant, but the character outside the house is a character that everyone loves. You're the best person ever. You're an angel to the whole world, except your partner at home. That's when you know you're toxic.
I think the problem too is a lot of times a toxic person is struggling with self-esteem. They're struggling with depression, and these are things that people need to deal with. And it's hard sometimes because you look at a toxic person like they're the bad guy, and in some instances they are bad for people, but a lot of times it's a person that just needs to heal. And sometimes it's better to separate yourself from people when you're that person until you're in a better headspace.
Mm-hmm. So someone on YouTube named Susu Adam. Susu Adam says it's hard to get out of a toxic relationship. And she has a emoji that's like sad.
Toxic relationships are very
Helpless.
addictive.
Yeah.
It's an addiction part. So when you're in a toxic relationship, especially when you have been in it for a while, the addiction part of your brain confuses love with addiction. So you become addicted to the person. So it's very hard to get away from them. And that's another reason when you know you're in a toxic relationship is when you are going through that. And I think some people call that trauma bonding. So I don't know if there's a level when it becomes trauma bonding, when it just becomes a addictive cycle, but they're addictive for sure.
It takes a lot of courage to get out of toxic relationships. You have to be prepared for all the consequences, and you got to expect the worst as a consequence of you walking away from a toxic relationship. And you got to be ready to face whatever you're facing when you leave, because they won't make it pleasant for you when you leave them. They know, they're aware of themselves. They are aware that people turn their backs on them and leave them, and it triggers them when you do that to them. It triggers their ego. So yeah, you just gotta be careful and don't stay in the victim mentality. If you are with a toxic person, and you feel bad and you feel self-pity, stop feeling that and act on it. If you want to get rid of that person, be tactical, read books, listen to videos that talk about this topic, and help yourself get out of this victim mentality, and you can do it.
What are some things that a toxic relationship does to your mental health?
Toxic relationship, it fucks with your head. A lot of people say it causes physical illness.
Yeah,
as well, because
I believe it.
Mental can affect the physical. Fibromyalgia is a very common physical illness as a result of staying in a toxic relationship. This person on YouTube, Hala Samiri on YouTube says, "What about a toxic family? That's the hardest."
That's very common, and we all have members of our family where we could say those people are at least toxic for us.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, like, it's very common to have a toxic family member. You're not alone. Just know that you're not alone. A lot of people are dealing with it. Actually, it's very common. So you got to be wise. You got to be smart about it. You got to, first of all, diagnose who's the toxic person and who's not. And you diagnose what actions they do that are toxic and be aware of it. And third, you gotta gray rock them. You have to do that. Whether it's a sibling, it's a mother, it's a father, gray rock the toxic person. Don't limit contact with them. Don't be so involved in their lives.
Yeah, if there's someone in your family where you think they're a toxic person, definitely don't go on a crusade to try to get them and try to turn everything against them, because then you're a toxic person. The best thing to do is to distance yourself as best as possible from them. So maybe don't interact with them. Try to avoid having conversations with them. It's gray rocking so that they don't interfere with your mental health, because they will.
Someone on YouTube named Zahra, hi Zahra, says toxic relationships can also be with yourself.
Absolutely. Mental.
How is that possible? What would someone do to themselves if they're in a toxic relationship with themselves?
They could be self-destructive. Maybe someone who drinks a lot or uses drugs or has a lot of sex with strangers or anything like that, destructive behavior. They're in a toxic relationship with themselves. They don't love themselves. And because they don't love themselves, they're doing things to try to feel good about themselves that cause harm in the short term and the long run.
All right. Someone on Instagram named Azim Q1 is asking me if he can sing.
Yes.
Yes, you can call us on +1 614 332 8211, and we're gonna reply to your phone call. Call us on WhatsApp, and you can sing. I'll say it in Arabic because he commented in Arabic. عزيم أو عازم بالإنستغرام يقول أصعد أغني. بالتأكيد راح نصعدك إذا تخابر على رقم الواتساب. رقم الواتساب +1 614 332 2811. بس هو يغني عربي عادي. زوجي دائما يسمع أغاني وياي، أشغل له أم كلثوم، أشغل له فيروز، أشغل له أصخام، وكله يسمعهم عادي، يعني كلش عادي. He's gonna sing in Arabic, and I told him it's fine. My husband listens to Arabic music. Sometimes I play stuff, and that's totally fine. You can call WhatsApp.
We've got a music video in Arabic that we're working on. Not our music, just a video. We should be out. It should be done within a few days.
يلا
It's a lot of
خابرنا.
editing.
خابرنا.
Also, this is our first time using the WhatsApp for people to call in, since this whole project is new. So we might have a few bugs to work out, but just bear with us.
Yeah. اتحملنا إذا أكو مشاكل فنية جاي يقول لك زوجي. Okay. شنو بعد? Babe, do you wanna
Oh,
he's
here we go.
calling.
Okay. Mahaba.
مرحبا.
You there? Let's see here.
Oh, wait.
مرحبا السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام.
Let's try that.
Babe, is it I think that's we're good. He can hear us. تسمعنا؟
اي نعم اسمعكم.
أهلا وسهلا. شنو اسمك؟ عازم؟
لا انا عبد الرحمن.
عبد الرحمن. يا هلا، يا أهلا وسهلا. His name is عبد الرحمن.
Abdurrahman. Did I get it right?
Yes.
How you doing today? Do you speak English at all?
No, I can't speak English.
Okay.
يلا تفضل يا عبد الرحمن.
اريد اسال سؤال. انت كان متابعينك كلش هوايه وتفاعل كلش قوي. هل سبب نشر هذا المحتوى عن الناس اللي دا ينقتلون من وراء هذا السبب قل التفاعل؟
صحيح. عن
أنا كنت
فلسطين.
متابع عن فلسطين. أنا كنت متابعك من أيام علي المرجاني، من إذا تتذكرين، من سويت وياه فيديو مشترك.
ايه واو صحيح. اليوتيوب يحط نقطة سوداء على أي واحد يدعم القضية الفلسطينية، لذلك المشاهير ما حكوا عليها، لأن هذا مصدر رزقهم، ما يقدرون يتخلون عن مصدر رزقهم، لأنه إذا بس يحجون مصدر رزقهم راح يروح خلاص، يعني ما يصير لهم رزق بهذا الشيء. وأنا هسه حاليا مو هذا مصدر رزقي، فأحكي بحرية.
يعني أفضل إليك إنه تحكين بحرية، لأن هذا مع الأسف يعني ماكو مشاهير حكوا بي ولا حد نشر.
صحيح، لأنه يخسرون علاقتهم بالدعايات، شركات الإعلانات يخسرون دعايتهم، يعني علاقتهم بيهم، يخسرون أي فلوس تجيهم هسه من السوشيال ميديا راح تبطل، يعني خلاص راح يتحط عليهم نقطة سوداء وخلاص ينسد عليهم على موضوعهم.
يعني أنت حسابك مدرك كم 100,000 بي، والتفاعل عبالك حساب ب10 متابعين أو 100 متابع بس.
صح،
هذا كله
ما
بسبب
ينشر لي. الخوارزمية ما تنشر.
خوارزمي حتى لو تسوين إعلان.
إعلان شنو يعني؟
يعني لا مو تدفعين للانستغرام.
إذا أدفع راح ينشروا لي أكيد، يعني لأن بفلوسي أنا ناشرة. بس أنا يعني أفضل الجمهور يكون طبيعي، يعني جاي الجمهور جاي يحبني ويتابعني أفضل لي مما إنه
أكيد أنا من الناس. أنا من الناس من شفت حسابك دورت، يعني انصدمت، كتاب ولا بعدها موجودة، بحيث دورت على حسابك، دورت لقيته بواحد حتى فعلا اخترعتها. شنو هاي ليش؟
ايه
زين ظل صافن هاي ليش هيجي. بعدين استوعبت انه اللي ينشر شي محتوى مع الاسف يعني،
ايه
وهل الاطفال
نقطة سوداء.
وما حد.
بس تدري شيء، تعرف شيء يا عبد الرحمن، هذا الاحتلال زائل 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 زائل، او يعني اليوم او باكر ويرجع التفاعل بعدها.
بلكي الله. أنا طالب قانون مرحلة رابعة، فعندنا مادة ندرسها اسمها قانون دولي.
صحيح.
أوكي. بهاي المادة يقولون إنه الدول لها حق إنه تصوت ولها حق إنه تحكي، وهذا ينظم القوانين بين الدول. بس هو كله كلاوات، إنه بس الدول العظمى هي تتصرف براحتها وما حد يقدر يحكي.
صحيح. هسه احنا شفنا شلون الدول العربية المواطنين اللي بيها مقموعين، لا قادرين يطلعون مظاهرة، لا قادرين يحجون. حتى بعض الدول ممنوع ترفع علم فلسطين، تدخل سجن، يعني فد شيء فظيع.
من الدولة إسرائيل هي حليف استراتيجي الأمريكي، فشوية صعب كلش إنه يصير حل.
الحل عند ربك.
الحل عند رب، بالضبط. الدعاء والله كريم.
مو
أسأل سؤال.
معجزات يعني على مر
أكيد
التاريخ.
أكيد من المعجزات إنه سقوط هتلر بالحرب العالمية الثانية. هاي معجزة، لأن إنه إذا انتبهتي إنه هو سيطر على كل العالم تقريبا، ولما فتح على روحه جبهتين ثلاثة، لما مسيطر على روحه غير ومسوي جيش بعد أقوى. هتلر لحد الآن موجود. والأرضية كلها إله، بس الحمد لله سقط، والأقوى منها هم سقط. بس أسأل شغلة واحدة.
صارت النازية هي الشريرة هسه يا منو اللي يفتح حلقة ويحكي على النازي أو يمدح به؟ صارت هي الشريرة. فبيوم من الأيام الصهيونية هي هم راح نحكي عليها بنفس الطريقة، هاي نتذكرها، يعني كانت الصهيونية وهي الشريرة. أنا هيك أتوقع يعني، وهاي بعدالة من الله، يعني عدالة السماوية فقط، ولا العدالة الأرضية ما نصفت القضية الفلسطينية.
صحيح. شنو علاقة KFC بإسرائيل؟
علاقة شنو؟
KFC وكالة مال أكل مال كنتاكي وغني.
ايه.
احنا ساكنين ببغداد. تظاهروا على هذا المطعم وعلى هاي الوكالة، يعني عزلوها ما ادري كم مرة، وصار ضرب وتفليش المطعم انه هذا المطعم يدعم إسرائيل. يعني هل هذا صحيح صدق يجي اكو شيء KFC يدعم اسرائيل؟
مقاطعة، هو مقاطعة من ضمن شركات المقاطعة اللي نقاطعها على مود على مود فلسطين. هم يعني مثلا خلينا نقول KFC مملوك من قبل ملياردير، خلينا نقول هذا
أي.
اجنداته يكون انه يدعم اسرائيل، يدعمون اللوبي الصهيوني. اذا انت سامع به هنا بامريكا، مو نظام ديمقراطي على اساس فلوبيات،
على اساس
لوبيات تضغط على الحكومة. فاكو شيء اسمه اللوبي الصهيوني، اسمه ايباك، يضغط على الحكومة الأمريكية حتى تدز سلاح لإسرائيل. فمنو يدعم اللوبي الصهيوني؟ المليارديرية اللي ماسكين هاي الشركات اللي احنا نسميها شركات مقاطعة. KFC واحد منها.
بس ما يأثر يعني، إذا أنت قاطعت فرع بالعراق ما راح يأثر ولا بشيء بسيط عليهم يعني.
ايه بس الواحد يسوي ضميره.
يعني ما، وحتى لو سوى ضمير هذا ما راح يأثر ولا بشيء بسيط، أبد 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 ما يأثر أبد. يعني إنه لو يتظاهر أحسن له.
ايه
يعني ولا يتظاهر على المطعم ما أعتقد يعني هيأثر عليه. هذول يعني عندهم وكالات بكل تقريبا كل العالم.
فرضا هسه افرض انه كل الناس صار عندها وعي وكلها قاطعت، هم ما راح يأثر؟
لا راح يأثر طبعا، بس انت تحكين على شيء شوي صعب.
نبديها بواحد، انت وتأثر على اصحابك، انت تأثر
صحيح.
على زوجتك او حبيبتك او خطيبتك، هيك يعني انا أثر على الناس اللي يمي، وهكذا يعني تكبر التأثير. واحنا ما جاي نسوي شيء غلط، احنا بس جاي نقاطع. احنا جاي كل ما شفنا هالدجاجة هاي ما كنتاكي نتذكر الأطفال.
صحيح
بس
صحيح.
هي ضمير يرادها، بس ضمير يعني ضمير إنساني.
انت من يا سنة وانت تصورين بودكاست وذني؟ من يا سنة؟
جديد والله، استوني 2024.
لا مو انت قديمة بهالموضوع فيديوهات البودكاست وذني.
البودكاست بديتها ايه بسنة 2024 جاي اقول لك.
مو كاتبة بالبروفايل ان انت من اول فتاة بودكاست تسوي؟
ايه وين اكو فتاة هسه بودكاست تسوي؟
صحيح. اوكي.
فتاة
يعني انا قصدي الفيديوهات الحوارية عبالي ما منتبه والله. شو اسمه، قلت لك ما كان عمره صغير والله مش تتابع يعني، فما كان عندي وعي، ما كنت مستوعب انه شنو هالفيديوهات اللي اشوفها، شنو المحتوى هذا. او تعرفين علي المرجاني من كان عنده قنوات 4 ما 5 وسدوها اغلبها اليوتيوب
صحيح
بسبب محتوى الايحاءات واللي يذني يسويهن. كنت الطفل اني اباع الفيديوهات اقول هذا شنو يسوي، ما استوعبت. من كبر ظل صافره كنت اباوع اني شنو المحتوى هذا المحلول. زين. ظل صافر اتذكر الذن اللي كان يسويه كلهم ايحاءات، كلهم يصير يشوفون الاطفال. احنا شلون كنا نشوفهم؟ انا عمري 21 سنه، يحس بي قبل تقريبا 4-5 سنوات. زين كنت مراهق، شلون تشوف الذن السوالف؟
مو الطفل ما يعرف يعني ما يعرف انه هذا ايحاءات،
بس ما يصير يشوفن. اوكي. فهو صحيح خطية تأذى من سدوا قنواته، بس كان محتوى حلو والله، بس يعني زودها بزايد واي قام يفشر ويغلط وراح زايد شيء مو صحيح يعني.
صحيح
تعرفين أنس من داخل أمريكا؟
أنس من داخل أمريكا أي من
أنس
زمان.
ما نشر هو عن هذا الموضوع؟
هو بالعكس كان ويا الاحتلال الصهيوني للأسف. للأسف ايه والله.
هو يحكي عن الحكومة العراقية دائما،
مع انه
ويحكي عن السياسيين،
مع انه هو انسان عربي يعني. انا
إنسان
ما اعرف شلون
عراقي
اي انسان عربي يعني يكون هيك متعاطف ويا المحتل.
ما عندهم إنسان
يا ريت المحتل الياباني مثلا، يا ريته مثل اليابان اجانا وجاب لنا الحضاره مثلا، يا ريت هيك. والله انا كانت عاطفت وياه، انا كانت عاطفت ويا هالمحتل هذا، بس اجا ودمر وخرب ونتعاطف
صحيح.
وياه مع الاسف يعني.
لا ما يصير، مو صحيح.
أي. هنا يقول نظرية العدوى الاجتماعية، أحد بالإنستغرام معلق لنا نظرية العدوى الاجتماعية، اللي هي اللي احنا من كنا جاي نحكي انا وانت، من كنا جاي نقول المقاطعة، انا اثر باليمي وانت تأثر بصديقك وهيك يعني، وكل واحد يقاطع ونبديها شوي شوي ونقاطع. هل تعرف شيء بما انه اختصاصك، شنو اختصاصك؟ قانون؟
اي قانون.
هل تعرف
هم
شيء
اريد
عن هاي
افتح.
النظرية؟
والله مو، لان انا بعدني طالب فمعلوماتي محدوده.
اوكي مو مشكلة. هاي اعتقد بعلم الاجتماع هاي النظرية، اللي يدرسون علم اجتماع عندهم هاي النظرية.
انا عندي صديقي يعني محاور ومعلوماته كلش قويه ووافيه، بس ما ادري انه يقدر واحد يصعد وياه بثوث وذنه يقدر يناقش.
اعزمه على الاسبوع الجاي يوم السبت بنفس هيك وقت، احنا فاتحين بودكاست ان شاء الله.
هيك وقت كل سبت تفتحون بودكاست؟ حلو.
بالضبط. ايه
اقول لك محاور كلش وعقليته كلش متفتحه، هو باحث تاريخي ومحلل سياسي.
اوه ما شاء
يعجبش
الله،
بيه الموضوع.
ما شاء الله. يلا جيبه.
هذا هو دراسه مو اجتهاد، مو اكاديميه، دراسه اجتهاديه. يعني هو يدرس لنفسه، ما يدرس حتى يروح امتحان ويمتحن، لا يدرس لنفسه. اكو فرق بين الاكاديمي وبين الباحث.
ايه بالضبط، اللي يحب هو يتعلم.
الاكاديمي يدرس حتى يروح يمتحن وها هي بعد ما يدرس، لا مال الباحث لا، هو من حياته هو عن دراسه.
فهو حاب
فما
العلم، هو طالب علم يعني
بالضبط.
طول عمره.
بالضبط. وهم كان وياي قانون وترك الدراسه لان شاف انه ما تناسبه الدراسه، والدراسه اكاديميه يشوفه شيء فاشل. هو وجهة نظره بعد ما ادري يعني.
هو من نفس عمرك، نفس جيلك، 21 سنة؟
نفس الشيء. نفس الشيء.
والله
2003.
انتوا الخير بيكم هالجيل هذا، يعني لازم تشدون حيلكم للمستقبل. والله انا افرح من اشوف اكو نماذج هيك، يعني تدرس وتتعلم وتريد تطور بلدانها.
يعني اسال ليش الشاب العربي او الشاب العراقي اغلبيه يطمح انه يغادر بلده ويشوف نفسه انه يكون روحه خارج البلد؟
يعني ماكو بيئة خصبة بالبلد،
ليش
ماكو
ما
حرية.
كنا نكون بيئة خصبة للبلد؟ لان يعني هسه بلدنا هذا بشغل وبفرص عمل تخلي الانسان يعني يطلع كومه فلوس ويصير ملياردير داخل بلده. ليش يفكر يطلع برا؟ يلا يعني ويروح البلد الضرائب او بلدان الاوروبيه.
مو كل واحد
احنا
إله
بالعراق
قصة،
ما.
يعني انت ما تعرف قصصهم اللي طلعوا، كل واحد إله قصة.
اكيد اكيد اكو تعذبوا واكو تاذوا واكو سجنوا واكو طاردوهم العصابات، اكو كل شيء.
يعني ماكو
بس
واحد يترك بلده ويترك هالفرص اللي انت جاي تحكي عنها والملايين اللي ممكن يطلعها الا ما يكون عنده سبب، ولا كان رجع هذا اذا يعني منتظرته الملايين، بس إلى سبب يعني.
هو هي فكره صارت او صارت يعني شلون بصوره عامه واحد يفكر انه انا حياتي ما ترهم الا خارج العراق هيك. اغلب الشباب اوكي فكره براس الشباب صارت انه نشوف نفسه انه هو
هاي
بالعراق كل شيء ما راح يصير
هاي
الا يطلع
يسموها
خارج
عقدة
العراق.
الغرب، هاي يسموها عقدة الخواجة او عقدة الغرب.
اي وهذا شيء مو صحيح. هسه انا عندي شخص عنده مهنه ميكانيكي مال دراجات ناريه. اوكي يريد بس يهاجر وخسر تقريبا اكثر من $50,000 على المهربين وما قدر يهاجر. اوكي
واو.
خسر كومه فلوس وخطفوه وهددوه بالقتل وهاي كلها صارت وياه على بس راد يهاجر، بس يريد يشوف حياته برا على
تدري
اساس يعني برا.
تدري احنا دائما اللي برا دائما نقول اذا انت عايش وحياتك زينة وحلوة بالعراق لا تطلع. يعني هو ميكانيكي انت قلت لي مو، وعنده محل وعنده بزنس.
عنده عمله الخاص، هو ما يروح يقدر يشتغل وما يطلع فلوس عادية، لا يقدر يطلع باليوم $50 $80 $100 ممكن يطلع باليوم.
والله
أوكي.
حرامات هيك. واحد مرتاح، يعني مرتاح وعنده
خسر كل فلوسه خطية
بزنس.
وهسه قاعد ما يشتغل. يعني قام فترة طويلة صار له قاعد ما يشتغل. ليش؟ لين راد يهاجر ويشوف حياته وما توفق. طلع على طريق روسيا وليتوانيا والزمو رجعوه، وراد يطلع على طريق تركيا ورجعوه. وهاي قصة صغيرة من مئات الآلاف من قصص الناس اللي راد تهاجر. هاي فكرة يعني.
كلش غلط.
ليش دي يهاجرون؟ يعني ابسط شيء، اسال سؤال. في فتره محرم، في فتره الزياره، الناس مئات الالاف الملايين يروحون يزورون. هذول هاي الاعداد المهوله لو تطلع تتظاهر ضد الدوله، ما راح يتحسن البلد؟
صحيح.
لو يتظاهرون على الصغيره والكبيره، الصغيره شغله صغيره يطلعون يتظاهرون عليها، ما راح تتصلح.
هي
احنا راضين على
المظاهرات،
الظلم، احنا ساكتين.
هي المظاهرات والشجاعة هي الحل. بس يراد لك
هي الحل.
شجاعة الناس همة، يعني لازم الناس عندها همة
احنا راضي، احنا
وتضحية.
جماعتنا راضين عن هذا الظلم وساكتين. اوكي، لو ما ساكتين كان ما صار هيك. راضين عن هذا الظلم وهذا الوضع التعبان، وما حد يتحرك. راضين عن الظلم، ينظلم الشخص ويا ساكت. وتدرين شلون يحاسبون الشخص المسيء؟ يصوره في امل عنده انه تصير قضيه راي عام، ويقعد يتحرك واحد ويصير حل. هاي عندنا، هاي طريقه يحاسبون الشخص المسيء، بس يصوره على اساس صار قضيه راي عام وهنا تحاسب. اوكي، واذا ما صوره حقك راح انتهت. على اسف يعني.
يلا الله يصلح الأحوال. مثل ما قلت لك هسه احنا كناس بإيدينا، اللي بإيدينا نسويه. واحد يأثر على اليمة، واحد يأثر على صاحبه، واحد يأثر على شريك حياته، وهكذا تنحل الأمور. واحد يركز على نفسه، يطور نفسه. أنا هيك برأيي، يطور نفسه
صحيح.
ويأثر على اللي حواليه. إنه إحنا لازم ننهض، إنه إحنا لازم استحقاقنا يكون إنه عالي، إنه نريد دولة، نريد نحسن من دولتنا. يعني ما نريد نسقطها، نريد نحسنها. مثل الشعب هنا، الشعوب الغربية ترى مو من يعني هي الحكومات ماشية عدل بصالح الشعب، مو من سواد عيون الشعب، ومو من يعني
صحيح.
ما شاء الله ملائكة اللي بالحكم. لا، لأن الشعب يصلح مستمر.
صحيح.
عملية مستمرة، هاي لازم مستمرة ما توقف.
صحيح، لأنك تخطيط كدراسي.
صحيح. يلا شكرا. ما غنيت لنا عبد الرحمن.
ها؟
انت قلت أصعد أغني.
لا مو أنا أكو ولد ثاني قال أصعد يغني، مو أنا. لا، ولد ثاني، مو أنا والله.
مو انت، واحد ثاني. اوكي، شكرا على مداخلتك. تحب تضيف شيء قبل لا ننزلك؟
لا، شكرا على الكلام اللطيف، وإن شاء الله الأسبوع الجاي أصعد وياكم.
اوكي، شكرا جزيلا. وقل لنا على صاحبك عود، قل
إن
لصاحبك
شاء الله.
عنه.
إن شاء الله.
يلا،
إن شاء الله. مع السلامة.
مع السلامة.
مع السلامة. All
right, babe.
Yeah.
So basically he was talking about how the people should rise up, how the people should fix the systems, not be scared to like change. He was just talking politics, like how the people in Iraq should not be scared of people in power, and like point out what's wrong and protest.
Is Iraq is technically a democracy now?
Yeah. So we have that option, but people should be aware of it, you know? People should be aware that they have rights, that they have to ask for their rights, and they fight for their rights. And I mentioned a good example is like the Western countries. There is a democracy here, not because people in power are angels. It's because of the people who keep pressing them to do good.
The people in power here would take all democracy and freedom away in an instant if they could get away with it. We've got some real scumbags in charge, like scumbags, dirtbags. The worst people in society love to rise to the top. Like the worst people in the world are in prison and government.
يعني يقول لك أسوأ الناس بالعالم هم موجودين بالسجون بالحكم يعني. فحتى هنا يعني مو انه ملائكة اللي بالحكم، بس الناس تمشيهم عدل الناس. فاحنا لازم يكون عندنا هذا الوعي كبشر. Someone on Instagram was commenting on the theory العدوى الاجتماعية. شلون أترجمها بالإنجليزي؟ نظرية العدوى الاجتماعية تقول لك راح تلاقين جيرانكم يقلدوكم. إذا تنظفين بيتك جيرانك راح يقلدوك، والحي كله راح يتنظف لأنه جيرانهم راح يقلدوهم وهكذا. فكل واحد ينعدم من الثاني بالتصرفات سواء جيدة أو سيئة. So like everything is contagious. When you do something, other people will do like it, and then the other, like if I do something, you will take it and you'll do it. Other people in your circle are going to do it, and then other people in their circle are going to do it.
Yeah,
so everything is contagious.
It goes for both positive and negative things. So if you do good, you lead by example, and if you do bad, you lead by example.
Yeah, you lead by example. So it's best for us to be the good examples for other people, and we lead by example. That's how you fix the world. You fix yourself first, and then you lead by example.
I mean, you got to think too, like when it comes to democracy, like we always talk about democracy being a great form of government, but democracy brings out the worst in people. And if you live in Iraq and you're not familiar with U.S. elections, you know, that's around the time when they always find a group to hate. Right now, it's people coming across the southern border. It's undocumented people. Before that, it was gay people. They were the bad guys. It was Arabs. They were the bad guys. Before that, it was like African Americans. They were the bad guys. All the time, it's like some bad guy that they have to turn everyone against to get votes to win office. So there's and it brings out just the worst in people. And then things kind of go back to normal. But yeah, that was it. Let me think. I had something else to add. I'll think about it for a second.
Okay. هنا can I say what you said in Arabic?
Yes.
زوجي قال إنه الديمقراطية دائما يكون اللي بالحكم حتى يحرك الناس ويحرضهم، دائما لازم يخلي إنه أكو جماعة يعتبرهم الأعداء أو الأشرار. فمنو الأشرار؟ هسه الأشرار بأمريكا إحنا المهاجرين. We are the bad guys now, immigrants. Not me. I mean, people coming. Actually, all immigrants, including like كل المهاجرين، بس بالأخص يعني اللي يجون من الحدود يهربون تهريب كهجرة. هذول هسه هم الأشرار. يعني ترامب مصورهم إنه هم الأشرار. قبل كان الجاي الشواذ الجنسية هم الأشرار، وقبلها كانوا العرب والمسلمين هم الأشرار. فدائما الحكومة الديمقراطية تحط لك ناس هم هذول الأشرار. All right, babe. Someone, Zaina on YouTube said,
Yeah.
People protested in Iraq, but they got killed on October. That was in October 2000, I think 19. Something.
It's horrible.
Like that.
It's
Yeah.
horrible.
So we were talking about how like we should protest and fix the government, but at the same time, Zaina says, but people protested, but they got killed. They died. So what do you have to say about it?
I think it's a really bad situation. I don't know what the answer would be. You know, if you do nothing, then you get. Here's the thing about government. You have people, the type A personalities, the people that want to control, that have the big egos, the narcissistic traits, all these things. These are the people that rise to the top. You know, in the West, we say in the Middle East, it's the strong man rules. But, you know, kind of in the West too, the deep pockets rule. You know, if you have the most money, you're probably going to win an election. So it's hard. But if you sit back and do nothing, then you have no hope, because those people will take power much faster, much easier. And yeah, it's really hard. I think the best thing to do in government is when you have a diluted branches of power, when you put all the power into one unit or branch, like the executive branch, for example, then it's easy for someone to become a dictator. You know, Saddam Hussein became the president in Iraq, and then he consolidated all the power around him and became the dictator for life.
Yeah, it's a very hard situation. I agree. In this scenario, the best thing, I believe the best thing is to Make the best out of yourself. Be the best version of yourself, and this is contagious. So you affect others in your circle by making them do the same thing, and always speak your truth. Always, like with your friends, with your family. Don't be afraid from the truth. The truth is the truth. You can't hide it.
Just
And
remember,
that's how we wake up and rise up.
the majority of the time, a politician, if they're telling you values, they're telling you to hate someone. And you don't have to believe them. You don't have to hate people. You can live in America and not hate foreigners. You can live in America and not hate immigrants. You can not hate illegal immigrants. You can just not accept it. You don't have to be part of it. You can just rise above it. You can be a better person than the masses. And sometimes the masses are horrible people. Sometimes the masses, look at the masses right now in Israel, they're pro-genocide. There's a genocide going on in Gaza, and they support it. Sometimes the masses are horrible. It's very few people there think that the genocide should stop. It's sometimes you're going to be the
odd example.
Yeah.
The odd example. Sometimes you gotta rise up yourself. Like, you don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to your loved ones. And if the whole society is sick, at least you're not the sick person here. And this is how it's contagious. It will be contagious. It will go to other people, and then it will be contagious. Anyway, babe, do you wanna play a reel?
Sure. Okay. Yes, definitely. So let's see here. We've got some new reels up. We've got to play our real intro song. Ready?
Hind Deer's weekly real picks, so dope, super duper diggity double dog dope dirt. My run. Hind Deer's weekly real
هذا الراب
picks,
يا
so dope,
جماعة.
super dope,
أغنية
super
راب.
duper diggity double dog dope dirt.
Dope.
My run. Hind Deer's weekly real picks, so dope, super duper diggity double dog dope dirt. My run. Hind Deer's weekly real picks, so dope, super duper diggity double dog dope dirt.
All right. Let me see. I'm in charge of the music.
My run. Hind Deer's weekly.
All right, guys. How do you like my Hind Deer's real pick song? All right. So these are going to be some of the reels I found this week that are really disturbing, and they're funny. I think reels are so entertaining. All right. So this one, let me see. I don't know if it's going to start at the beginning.
Let's listen to it.
Rub
twice.
my holy milk in your face to increase your business sales. Listen, ain't nothing wrong with having somebody preach the Bible to you. But at some point, you gotta get an understanding.
Oh, we can do that.
Okay, and then unmute.
Was arrested after convincing his church members that God gave him reproductive organs that contain holy milk. One of his followers said, he told us that the only way we could receive the holy milk is through our mouth. And I thought it was strange at first, but he gave us his word that he was telling the truth and that the Lord anointed him with a Holy Spirit and holy milk. And it was his mission to go throughout the world, healing people. He would say, get on your knees and perform until you're showered with the gift of the Holy Spirit. And if you were someone with a local business, he would say, rub my holy milk in your face to increase your business sales. Listen, ain't nothing wrong with having somebody preach the Bible to you. But at some point, you gotta get an understanding for yourself what that Bible is saying. You ain't never heard of Jesus or the 12 disciples he was out there walking around with tell anybody to get on their knees and suck the holy milk out of them. So why are you doing that? A 59.
Okay.
All right, guys. So, in case you didn't catch it, that there was a pastor that was telling people to suck his holy milk. He was a sexual deviant, basically. He was molesting people, I don't know where these people come from. I have no idea where are these people in regular life? They pop up on these weird things. I've never met someone this deranged that I know of in real life. But they exist. They exist in every religion. They exist in Islam. They exist in Christianity. They exist in Judaism. It's insane. What do you think? Holy milk.
I think it's insane. Like he wants people to suck his boobs
No.
for milk.
Genitals.
Oh,
Holy
oh my
milk.
God, holy milk.
See-
Oh my God, that's not for kids. Some kids are watching us. That's not for kids. Like this guy pretends to be a pastor and he found a holy milk in his body and people need to suck it out of his body
No, I think he is a pastor or was a pastor. He's probably
to get healed.
Anyways, it's not a good person.
Yeah, be careful. Be careful.
Speaking
people.
of toxic people, that was a great one.
I wonder if some people believe him.
Yeah, he got away with it for a while.
Oh my God. All right, babe. Let's take
Yeah.
some comments.
Yep.
Someone said, "What are you talking about?"
Which part?
Today we're talking about toxic people. Let's
Yeah.
remind ourselves with the topic.
And also, guys, if you want to call in on WhatsApp, the number is 614-332-2811. You're welcome to call and talk live with us.
You live in America and stand with Palestine. Does this pose a danger to you? Good question. Probably it does. I mean,
good
there are
question.
some crazy people who want to destroy anyone who talks about Palestine. They want to call us anti-Semitic. They want to call us, anti-Semitic, even though I'm Semitic. I have Semitic blood in me. But you know what? I'm not going to be afraid from saying the truth. Whatever consequences come from that, it's consequences that came from God. I'll just accept it. At least I'm saying the truth. I'm standing against the genocide and I'm speaking my truth. You know, like I want this to end. I want the genocide to end. I want people to live in peace. I'm sick of seeing my people being persecuted. I'm sick of seeing the Christian being persecuted. I'm sick of seeing the Jews being persecuted. Believe it or not, Naturi Karta live in New York, and they are Jews. They're ultra-Orthodox Jews, and they're being persecuted for standing with Palestine. So I'm sick of like injustice, and I want to change for the best. So I'm not going to be afraid from the truth. I know God is with me. God is protecting me, whatever the consequences might be. People who got in jail because of saying the truth are not better than me. I'm not better than them. If I'm meant to like be in jail and tortured, let it be for saying the truth. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm with peace and justice, and this is everything this country stands for. And I came here for freedom. Why should freedom be taken away from me? In the land of freedom, I left my whole country and I left my people and I left everything behind for freedom. So I'm not gonna give away my rights, my freedom, my right to be free.
You guys would be surprised too that if you're not from the U.S. and you don't live in the U.S., how this genocide has affected people's opinion of Israel. And a lot of people are asking questions. They're talking about it in a way that before they would have been silenced really quickly. They would have been called anti-Semitic. And now there's so many people talking, and it's bipartisan. It's on the left and the right, not politicians because they're all bought off. The few politicians that don't take money from AIPAC do speak about it, but that's very few. Tom Massey, I think he's like the only Republican. And then I don't know on the Democrat side. Omar Alan, whatever, from Michigan.
Ilhan Omar. She's a Somali lady from not Michigan, Minnesota. There's a big Somali population there. They vote for her every time. But yeah, she speaks against the genocide because she's not funded by AIPAC. Who
But,
else?
but right now, like a lot of people are asking, why are our politicians not saying no to Israel? Why does Israel determine our foreign policy? It's shocking. I mean, when we had the flood in Tennessee, North Carolina, and you had Lindsey Graham, who's the senator from South Carolina, he was being interviewed about the flood, and his response was, "It's bad what's happening here, but let's not forget about our friends in Israel." And people are just shocked. It's absurd that he would even say that, because he's completely ignoring the people in his district. And I guess my point is that you shouldn't underestimate the American people, because the American people, they can rise up, and they are a juggernaut force. When you have the multitudes massed around an issue, you can't undo it. You had President Obama, he did healthcare reform. On the other side, they wanted to undo that legislation so badly, but you had so many people that were in favor of it that they couldn't undo it.
By the way, there's Julie watching us, so I say hi, Julie.
Hey, Julie.
My friend.
How's your baby?
Yeah, how's your baby? It's been a long time since we communicated, but I do miss you, and I miss our crazy activities, going out in the cold with summer clothes. We did that once. And she said that's powerful, that she commented when I was speaking about freedom and the truth. Someone here on Instagram says, so that means there is no freedom in our country, Iraq? Are you asking us? Or are you like, I did not mean that. The freedom is the people. If the people are free-minded, there's going to be freedom. Whether people in power like it or not. If the people are free, there is going to be freedom. So the people have to be free.
I mean,
You have to free your minds.
There's some
you know?
freedom. It's not North Korea. It's not
But
Afghanistan.
yeah, Iraq is not North Korea. So there is some freedom. I believe so. And
You guys are on social media right now. You guys are tuned into us. So you're communicating. In a really unfree place, you're not allowed to gather as groups. Even in the U.S., before the U.S. became a country, it was British colonies, and it was against the law for groups to gather.
yeah. It's always about the people in power. It's something about the people in power. They want to be more and more powerful. They want to have control over you. Speaking of toxic people, these are toxic people. They want to have control over you. They want to make you a slave for them. And we have a saying by Muhammad, our prophet, that says, "Mata." I'll say it in Arabic and then translate it. It says, "Mata استعبدتم الناس وقد ولدتهم أمهاتهم أحرارا." So when did you enslave people when they were born free? So that's what anyone in power would want to do, and that's we should stop them.
We have a saying in English: if you give a monkey a brain, it'll swear it's the center of the universe.
Okay. Yeah, it will. Julie says her daughter's doing good and she loves us. We love you too. I always tell my husband Brandon good things about you. You rather live in a hood that's dangerous in America.
Hood is dangerous in America. I think there's also misconceptions about the West. In the West, we have misconceptions about the Middle East. And you guys have misconceptions about the West, too. You guys think that everyone here comes from a broken family. You think that there's shootings everywhere. These are all things that do exist. But the United States is a huge country. It's an entire continent. It's almost 400 million people. It's a massive country. So you have shootings, but at the same time, they're very rare. As far as hoods go, what you mean by hood, there's probably very few places in America that would really be considered like hoods. You have lower income parts of town. We live in Columbus, and Columbus is a big city, and there's lower income areas. There's areas where there are shootings, but it's not something where you have it all the time, where you're constantly under fear of drive-by shootings or being robbed or anything. So I don't know. It's just it's a stereotype. We think that in the West we have stereotypes about the Middle East that, for example, maybe the Middle East is very misogynistic, and I'm sure there are examples in the Middle East where that's not the case.
Yeah, that's a stereotype, as Brandon mentioned. Shootings do happen, like at the New Year, like midnight, but we heard shooting in our neighborhood. But I don't know if it's people like celebrating the New Year and shooting in the sky like people do in the Arab world, or some criminal activity, but it happens everywhere. And I always believe what's meant to be is meant to be, whether you live in a safe place or not. I mean, we live in a relatively safe place, but things do happen.
You can practice caution.
You can practice caution, yeah. Like a few weeks ago, that's Julie she wants to call. Julie, we connected our WhatsApp of this number that's in the comment to. Oh, she's watching us with her daughter. If you'd like to call the other number, not my personal number. The number is right there in the comment. What I was talking about, babe?
Shootings?
Yeah, shootings. A few weeks ago, there was a shooting in our street, but it was domestic violence. It was a boyfriend who shot his girlfriend and her baby, and he shot himself too. But that was like a domestic violence incident. So things happen. We're just cautious, and that's all we can do.
Yeah, I mean, people are crazy everywhere. And when you obviously one of the factors is when you have people that maybe they're low income for a reason, and depression or unhappiness, but it all snowballs into a cycle where they can be self-destructive, and you would have more reckless behavior maybe from a lower income area, so you would have more violence in a lower income area. But as far as hoods go, I mean, Southern California, Chicago, New York, other than that, there's poor areas and there's wealthier areas in every city.
That's correct. And by the way, my car got robbed, or like someone opened my car and got my ID from it and stole my credit cards in a rich neighborhood. That happened to me before. So it doesn't matter really, like whether you're in a rich or poor neighborhood in the US. I think it's all the same. Like someone broke into my mom's car, and she's in a good neighborhood. It's considered good neighborhood, good school district. Anyway, let's move on. I was gonna say, someone commented. Someone's asking me about Tuta Stella. They're asking me in Arabic. So هذا راح أقوله وبعد ما راح أعيده. راح أقوله الأخير وبعد ما راح أعيده لأنه هواي جاي يسألوني عن هذا السؤال. وين اختفت توتا ستيلا؟ شنو أخبار توتا ستيلا؟ بصراحة يا جماعة أنا ما أعرف عنها أي شيء هسه حاليا. ما عندي أي تواصل وياها. ضاع مني رقمها، ضاع منها رقمي يمكن. بعد ما تواصلنا، يعني من تواصلنا على اليوتيوب بوقتها، وبعدين أنا قطعت، وبعدين ما تواصلنا أنا وياها. فهو هذا اللي صار. يلا. If you want to comment in English or in Arabic, or if you want to call us 614-332-2811 on WhatsApp, you can call us. We're here for another at least 10 minutes. All right. You want to move on to the next reel, babe?
Sure. You guys want to see some more reels?
Yeah. Wait, hold on.
All right.
All right. You want to?
Okay.
Hind Deer. Super dope. Super diggity dog dope.
Hind Deer's weekly real picks. So dope, super duper diggity double dog dope. Dirt. Mom, bruh. Hind Deer's weekly real picks. So dope, super duper diggity double dog dope. Dirt.
Brr.
Mom, bruh. Hind Deer's weekly real picks. So dope, super
that you were
duper
actually-
diggity double dog dope. Dirt.
You gotta stop it first.
That's right.
Mom, bruh.
I'm still getting used to this setup. All right. So this is someone who identifies as a different race.
Different race?
Yeah.
All right, let me refresh it.
Yeah. And then you got to unmute it really fast.
As that you were actually a white person trapped in a black person's body.
It's literally since I was born. I've always known it because even when I cried as a baby, I didn't cry loud like an African child. I cried sort of softly and more quiet like a European child.
When did you realize that you were actually a white person trapped in a black person's body?
It's literally since I was born. I've always known it because even when I cried as a baby, I didn't cry loud like an African child. I cried sort of softly and more quiet like a European child.
When did you...
She's racist.
Cried like a delicate snowflake European child. Dude,
And then the way she talks, oh my God, since I was born.
I think though,
Since
like,
birth.
if you have people, here's the thing: people identify as genders, but then identifying as ethnicity is not in fashion yet. But this is the United States. Give it time; it will happen. America is the weirdest place on earth.
I'm a white person trapped in an Arab person's body, babe.
Yeah, not only am I Arab, but I also speak on behalf of all Arabs. So
You're Arab.
I also
trapped-
represent the entire Middle East.
You're an Arab trapped in a white person's body, and I'm a white person trapped in an Arab's body. That's how we found each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because I can relate.
I'm a white person trapped in an Arab's body, trapped in an African body, trapped in an Asian body. It's very complex and complicated.
It's crazy. It's like I can't describe it any other way. It's crazy. Like there's nothing wrong with being your race, whatever your race is, you know?
You got to, like how ethnicity came about, because all humans came from the same humans. Humans have very little genetic diversity. Humans were almost extinct at one point. There was down to like 40 humans living. So all humans are related. And the reason we look different in different areas is because of years and years, centuries of inbreeding. So you get genetic anomalies. So you have, in Asia, you have different looking eyes. In Africa, you have actually the most genetic diversity is Africa. So I would think that maybe someone from Africa, Southern Africa, is probably the most complete human being, really. But yeah. So what I'm saying is you are all inbred. Me too. We also have Neanderthal DNA, so we did our DNA. I think
everyone does.
not people from Southern Africa. That's like the one place where it doesn't exist.
Is it pure African over there?
I just know that the only place on Earth that doesn't have. This is from me reading 23andMe. I don't actually know this stuff. I'm not a geneticist. I'm not a scientist. I'm actually just read this stuff. But almost everyone on Earth has Neanderthal DNA except people from Southern Africa.
Wow. Okay. What do you want to do next?
Any more questions?
Yeah, it's we are over 1 hour right now,
Okay.
so I would like to read some more questions on Instagram and YouTube. If you guys comment, I'm gonna read your comment.
Yeah,
and then,
and then
we can wrap up.
yeah, and probably too what we want to talk about, since we're talking about toxic people. So let's say you are in a relationship with toxic people and you get away from it. There's always damage that's done. How do you heal afterwards? How do you come back to normal? How do you recover?
Oh, I thought I was gonna read the comments.
Both.
Okay. What did you say? Hold on, I'm reading the comments, babe.
Imagine people just want attention and they do some outrageous things sometimes to get it. 100%.
Yeah, babe. Let's do one thing and then the other. Okay. Which one do you want to start with? Answering your question or answering the comments?
So, I just wanted to make sure we tie up this podcast with the topic we started with, which is toxic people. So we started out talking about.
Oh, you're asking them the question.
I'm just asking the question.
Okay, what was the question?
Let's say you're in a relationship with a toxic person,
Mm-hmm.
and you realize this and you get away from it. Afterwards, there's always damage that's done. How do you recover? How do you heal?
How do you heal from after leaving a toxic relationship? How would you heal? Or how did you heal after leaving a toxic relationship? Comment and we'll read your comment, and then we will wrap up with your comment. Let me read some of the comments that have been written. Someone said, if I write in Arabic, will you answer my question?
Yes.
Of course we will. راح نجاوب على سؤالك بالعربي يا V99JT من الانستغرام. That's it, right? Yeah. If you write your comment, whether in English or Arabic, we will respond to you. Let me start by answering the question. While people write their answers, let me say, how do I heal from a toxic relationship? It depends on the person, babe. So some people, it's really hard for them to heal. And some people, it's easy for them to let go and start over. But you gotta have the skills to let go and start over. And it might not be easy all the time. But you gotta do it. Let go of everything and start over.
I think sometimes too, especially if you're dating a toxic person, you should probably spend about a year single, just focusing on yourself. They say this with too, if you have drinking problems or drug problems and you get sober, you should not have any new relationships for at least a year.
Mm-hmm. I agree. You should take the time to get to know yourself, spend time with yourself, and then from there you can heal. Julie says, faith and hope in God, and surrounding myself with people who have strong faith.
That's right.
That's right. Faith in God, praying too much, praying, because praying is a type of healing, and it's a type of meditation. And then you build a relationship with yourself and with God, and that's how you heal.
Yeah. Any input?
That's
What
it.
I'm saying.
People are not commenting.
All right.
We can wrap up.
All right, guys. Well, I guess that will wrap up for today, the Hind Deer podcast number 3. So we'll be back again next Saturday, and it's going to be around 2-3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
We started at 4 p.m. today. We will try to be earlier than that next time. I will try 2 p.m. next time. I will do my best. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll also have some new reels out this week, so watch for the new reels. I think they're funny. So at least two reels this week. Both music videos.
Mm-hmm.
One in English, one in Arabic.
Well, stay tuned. We have 2 reels. They're really funny.
All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and see you next week.